is my second video. Today, we will be talking about why I hate the government. Now, things were getting a little controversial here, so let me just cut straight to the point. I'm not gonna make this into a long video like the last one. But my personal beliefs, I'm neither Democrat nor Republican, okay, nor libtard, I'm neither one, but I just like the word libtard, it's just funny. But when it comes to government agencies and how they operate, you know, if you do some research, that fucking cat never comes in here. When I have the door open, he likes to roam out there and do. But the second I start talking about the government, he doesn't ever just come in here by. Like, he doesn't do that. He works for the feds. Anyways, I'm just gonna say it. You know, if I get killed, it's because of the government. Now, if you do some research, you'll notice a lot of things are tied back to the silly people with the little hats and the you know, I can't say that because there's a lot of things saying that, you know, people who are anti-Semitic are in risk of losing their citizenship in the U.S., which I'm not trying to have that because I'm not originally from the U.S., but let's get to some crucial evidence, right? 9/11 was an inside job. It was. Why did a bunch of money post-hand disappear? Because the government needed a cover-up, and there's even files saying we need a Pearl Harbor level disaster to I don't remember exactly, but I'm just doing off the top. Typically, if I were serious about it, I would have like my laptop here, and I would like have some actual evidence, but I'm just going off the top of my head. But there's speculation. There's a lot of evidence, a lot of witnesses from the 9/11 attacks saying that they heard secondary explosions. They first heard the impact of the plane, but then they heard a explosion beneath them. And if you look at some of the pictures during the cleanup, you'll notice that some of the steel beams are at an angle, right? Now, that's called, I believe it was a controlled demolition, but a controlled demolition charge acts in a certain way where it blows it apart, but it leaves it in that triangle shape. And that's a lot of proof that, hey, maybe there was a secondary explosion. And also the pentagram, when they hit the pentagram, it's really odd that the entire plane disintegrated except the passports of the supposed terrorist. Shiver me timbers. But it's a coincidence, really. And I'm telling you, look it up, do your research. People were saying, you know, when I was in the towers, I heard another explosion because they first heard the impact of the plane, but then they were like, I heard another explosion. And if you look at some of the footage, you can see, okay, so here my arm's a tower, right? Here's where the plane impacted, and as it collapsed, you can see a miniature explosion, and then the tower collapses. Because the way it works is that the internal structure is built to withstand a lot of pressure. Even if, and they say, oh, it collapsed because the jet fuel melts steel beams. Wrong. Do your research, look it up. Jet fuel cannot melt steel beams. Even if it did, the outside structure can collapse, right? Because all that weight on the excess is you know, not as strong. But the internal structure, which is responsible for holding the whole thing up, didn't fall down. Because, why? Because jet fuel cannot melt steel beams. Even if it got to a temperature where it sagged like this, it's still not going to take the two big structures down with it. It's going to take probably a much, much more higher temperature to melt the whole thing. And, you know, I'm not going to get started on the Holocaust. That's a completely different story, but there's so many evidence. And here's another thing. The owner of the Twin Towers always has breakfast in the Twin Towers every morning. But not on 9/11. And why did he get a insurance for terrorist attacks 2 weeks prior? It's almost like the government planned it. Oopsies! I sure hope I don't get sniped by some greedy corporate Jew. Oopsies! Anyways, let's move on to the funny people with little hats. You know, I'm a religious person. You know, I have a very beautiful cross here made out of 14 karat gold. I cherish it a lot. But I've noticed in some of the scriptures, you know, you can violate a non-goy. Oh, no. What's goy? A non-Jew? A goy is a non-Jew. What I'm trying to say is that in their scriptures, you can violate a person who isn't Jewish. You can sleep with a minor who is above the age of 9 as long as they are not a Jew, right? That you can steal from a non-Jew. You can do all these things to non-Jews, right? So it's basically promoting you can kill, you can murder, you can steal, you can rape, you can sleep with children as long as they're not Jewish, not goys. Now, there's two sides of the coin here. There's Zionist, the yucky side, and there's Judaism, right? Those are the actual good people on the coin, right? You know, I don't know if people have heard that Israel recently attacked Iran. Well, Israel, Palestine, Israel, Iran, Israel, and Syria. Israel started everything, and they're crying wolf. It's like that one image where it's like the dude's poking the beehive, doing it intentionally, and then he runs to the camera saying, "Guys, they attacked me first. Help me!" And it's really pathetic. It's really pathetic. And what sucks is that, you know, Israel has the U.S. on a damn puppet string doing its bidding. It's like, well, our country's being governed by another fucking country. Well, shit. You might as well fuck me in the ass and call me gay. And I'd rather have that happen than get drafted to fight for Israel. No, I'd rather go to jail and get booty fucked by Waquifus Delikas. What the fuck? I would rather have that happen than fight for Israel. I'm not anti-Semitic. I'm just anti-control. I feel like the U.S. should be its own country, not have to be forced to fight Israel's wars, because Israel, and a lot of the politicians, here. A lot of the politicians, if you do some research, they're all mainly Jewish. A lot of the owners of the big companies are Jewish. A lot of the bigwigs in the government corporations or whatever are Jewish, you know. And if you noticed, every president that we've had the stupid little hat on and touched the wall. He's like, I pledge my soul to the devil. Oh, must have been Casper. Was that my friend Kalen? Kalen, you can't say that. Crazy Kalen. Anyways. But yeah, it's a really interesting trend. You know, I'm not going to say the painter, you know who, but Kanye's ideals about the funny people were kind of correct. And it's a shame that people are only starting to realize now. But, the Epstein list. This is one of my favorite things to talk about, honestly. It was released prior. We saw who was on the list. Trump, Stephen Hawking, so many people. And recently, Diddy got out of jail, not on trafficking, but for prostitution. So the bigwigs let him go with a slap on the wrist. Why? Because he's part of the elite group. The elites that control the world. I can't talk about too much because I'm going to get killed like JFK, because JFK tried to, you know, take out the CIA, and the CIA was like, whoa there, you're taking out our secret society. Huh, say goodbye to your fucking head. Rest in peace, JFK. You were missed. Now, JFK was the only president who didn't kiss that stupid wall. You know what happened to him? Yeah. Pretty crazy. I feel like I should end this before I get too deep into something where I can't dig myself out of, I have noticed a few cars been outside my house that has been watching me. I'm not schizophrenic. I'm not autistic either. Oh my God! Did you hear that? Ugh. Anyways, I'm gonna put a stop there. We're gonna talk about something, to cheer up the mood. There's really nothing to talk about in the world that's happy. Everything has gone to shit, let's be honest. I saw a cute girl at the gym today, and she looked at me, and I think she smiled at me, so that's a good thing. I ain't got nothing else on my mind. I spoke all I felt like today. I'm gonna go take a shower and take a shit or something. I don't know.